and welcome to the ROCKATX online worship experience. You are getting ready to experience God on another level. Whatever you're seeking from God for your life is available for you as you praise, hear the word, and transform your situation. While you're worshiping with us, feel free to interact with our online ministers in the chat and share this broadcast with your friends and family so they can join you online. Also, make sure you subscribe and follow the ROCKATX on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to stay connected to all the Rock is doing. Now, shake off the worries of the week and get ready to give God some praise. Service will begin soon.
The thing about daddies, I had a great mother, I had a great father. Loved them both. But daddy's voice, his words. I tell people I was a punk in my family, but I know y'all don't believe it. I know you don't. But I am the punk in my family. And my daddy never whooped me. Never whooped me. Did I deserve one? Yes. But he could yell at me. He could say, Mia. I bust out crying. Mama said, what's wrong with you, Daddy? He yelled at me. His voice to me felt like it filled the room. When he said Mia was mad or was concerned or was trying to even stop me from going into the street. I remember as a little girl, I was running and he used to say, Joe, you better get her. And when he would say, Joe, you better get her, I knew that was a whooping from mama. That was a whooping that he wanted to give to me, but he let mama do it instead. But he did it out of concern. He did it out of concern. It says that a father must also take time to speak to the family members. So daddy didn't treat me as the oldest the same way he treated the others. He didn't treat me like my brother, the only son. He didn't treat me like him. He didn't treat me like no boy. He didn't treat me like I was the middle child. He didn't treat me like I was the baby. He even called me the big baby. And so we have to understand that Paul is saying, I got to treat you all different. You are all mine, Thessalonica. But I treat you different. And those of us with kids, we know that. We know that Dr. Moody knows he can yell at me and I say, okay. But if he yell at Vicky, she's going to be upset. He knows his kids. She going to call and say, is everything okay, Dr. Moody? And I'm going to say, all right, what you want me to do? He knows his kids. He knows his kids. And so because he knows his kids, when he is wiping my nose and he putting a Band-Aid on somebody else's knee, that's because he has the qualifications required. His work, we look at our daddy's work, they go home, they go to work, come home. We don't know what they do half the time. We didn't know what our daddies did. I didn't know my daddy was in the military until he retired. I didn't know. We were Navy brats for a little while. I was too young to remember. But we know that when daddy is at work, daddy is at work. He is doing the work of God. So Paul is saying, one of my qualifications that God requires of me is to work the ministry and to walk his walk. And when we sin that as his children, we can't be the people in the way. My dad called it the big butt syndrome, that we get our butts in the way. Yes, let me not, because mine is a big one. That we get our butts in the way from anybody else that needs daddy's love and attention. So when he is doing his walk, when he is taking care of his children, we have to let him do what he does. And also as a father, it says a father must not only support the family by working and teaching the family, but he must be a good example. He also must take the time to speak to family members. Paul dealt with each believer personally. That is what a father does. Children are easily discouraged, and not always by daddy. Most of the time we discourage each other. Me and my sister fight like cats and dogs till this day. My daddy didn't have nothing to do with that. That's just how siblings are. It's just not all siblings get along. But I don't blame mom and daddy. I don't go to him and say, Shannon hit me. After I got grown, I did it when I was young, me and Shannon fighting. But after a while, that's just something we work out. That's something we work out. So I wanted to let you know that, first of all, we have decided we have the person in our house that has met the qualifications required. He's faithful. He's a loving mother. He's a loving father. He has a method to what he does. Motive, he don't want nobody to pat him on his back. He just wants us to do what he say. That's how we pat Dr. Moody on the back, is do what he say. He don't want no accolades. He just wants to be the person that God had made him be when he was born. When Dr. Moody was born, he had the qualifications required. God knew that September 14, 1968, that Mr. and Mrs. Moody were going to have a Charles Moody the second, I'm sorry. Prophesying. Charles Moody the Jr. Charles Moody Jr. And even that, as he say, I'm not saying this, Miss Brown, he say that as a bad Baptist boy, that God had already given him the qualifications required to be my pastor. And then at the age of 19, when he ran into Dr. Dana Carson today, and he was being prepared for the qualifications that were required, that was already in him, he brought him to the TheROCKATX. He brought him to the Rock Austin with the qualifications required to be Mia's pastor. Because as he told you earlier, it ain't easy to be my pastor. It ain't easy. And I've had in my whole life 4 pastors, just 4. So this lets you know that I'm faithful. I've only had 4 pastors. One that I grew up with, and he used to go whoop me, so I had to do what he said. The one when I went to college, and this year I will be with Dr. Moody 2 years longer than the one I had when I was in college and became a young adult. 17 years I've been with him because he helped guide me and you. He teaches me and you. He encourages me and you. He prays for me and you. He loves on me and you. And I say to all of you that there are many churches, but few pastors. Many churches, but few pastors. And we have to recognize that all the qualifications, you can go to my next slide, all the qualifications that we needed as a Rock organization, as a Rock parishioner, as a partner, as a member, that Dr. Moody had all the qualifications required just for us. So Elder Greer, okay, all right, we've got you that he is the one. So what about me? What about me? I'll tell you. Paul said, I couldn't find anybody like-minded other than Timothy. Timothy was the only one that he sent out to plant a church because he said he looked high, he looked low, but he couldn't find anybody that could go other than Timothy. So now that we know that we are under the right person, we know that we are being taught the right things, what we have to do is get the required qualifications into us from the man who has the qualifications that are required. So the Lord has helped me see that whatever come out of that man's mouth is what I need, is what is required of me. Whatever come out of that man's mouth is what gives me my qualifications. Whatever comes out of that man's mouth is what I'm supposed to do. Whatever come out of that man's mouth is how I'm supposed to act. Whatever that man does, we're supposed to model. So that he can say, I have some people that are like-minded, and I'm going to send you out so that you can be like Thessalonica, and you can say, I know that this man is worth what he says. I know he is qualified. I know he is ready. I know that he is coming with nothing but the word.
Thank you for worshiping with us today. If you're in need of prayer or someone to talk to, our online ministers are available for you right now in the chat. And we invite you to join us again for our extraordinary worship services every Sunday at 10:30 a.m., Sunday at 4 p.m., and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central, where Dr. Moody teaches how to understand the Bible and you can get your biblical questions answered. We look forward to connecting with you and ask that you subscribe to TheROCKATX on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay connected to all The Rock is doing. Also, you can connect with us through our website at TheROCKATX.org. Again, thank you for worshiping with us, and be blessed.